Hello students, today we are going to do a book review of the book Physics for the Inquiry Mind by M. Rogers, and you will find this is a very old book which is written for the lay people, and here it starts with the heading the methods Physics for the Inquiry Mind, the methods, nature and philosophy of physical science. It is a very old book and it is written specially for the lay people, and here you will find the topics are arranged as usual, that is of basic physics, that is matter, motion and force, part 1. Then in part 2 it talks about the astronomy. Likewise in the part 3 about some heat topics are there. In the part 4 electricity and magnetism, part 5 atomic and nuclear physics. So this way it starts from part 1, that is matter, motion and force, and here you can find over here it is giving diagrams are there, and many of the basic concepts are taught in this book in a very easy language. It is very readable form book and in very elementary level with minimum of equations. You will find everywhere the theory is there, and it is quite a good book to read, as if you are reading like a novel. And here the chapter 2 starts with projectile, geometrical addition and vectors, and then further you will find all these topics are covered in our 11th and 12th class physics. In chapter 3 forces as the vectors, chapter 4 it talks something about the experiments, how we should perform the experiments in the laboratory, and it tells us that we should perform experiments in the laboratory like scientists, and how we should have an inquiry mind. Then here it is talking about this fluid dynamics, and here also about the pressures, fluid pressure, and many of the experiments it discusses about the laboratory work as well as about the optics. And then there is a lesson on law and order, stress and strain, that is related to elasticity. And this is surface tension, and many of the reference book usually they refer this book for surface tension, and surface tension is very well explained in this book. You will find a surface tension topic is very well explained in this book, and you can see over here the pictures which you find over here, which you will not find in our reference book as well as the books which we study for 11th and 12th. So quite a good book to be studied, and it is very different from our textbooks, and you will find good diagrams are there, and it covers surface tension in quite a deep way. It covers, okay, in very elementary form it covers the surface tension. And as I've said, many of the reference book they refer this surface tension chapter. Whenever the surface tension chapter is there, they refer this book. Then there is force and motion in the chapter number 7. So all these topics are covered in elementary physics in our 11th and 12th. And then further you will find that we are having one lesson over here, and that is after covering this force and motion, then there is momentum, where it talks about the conservation of momentum and what actually momentum means. Okay, many other topics are there like fluid flow is there, which is coming in our chapter number 9. And then later on we will find chapter number 10 is there, vibrations and wave, and here you will find it talks diagrams are there about the interference of waves and many other things like Young experiment is there, and so on. And then further some mathematical parts is there of arithmetic and elementary mathematics is covered, then facts and early progress. And this way you will find also astronomy is covered in the chapter number 14. As I have said, in the chapter number 14 we are covering the topics of astronomy, and up to chapter number 17 then it gives something the description about the Kepler's law. Yes, and you will find this way the books is going on, and we have reached here up to the page number 267. Quite a big book and large book, and having large number of pages. And then we circular motion, which is a very famous chapter in 12th class, and we have reached up to 297. And you will find in this book And here it talks about the Isaac Newton circular motion topic is also discussed in a very better way over here. And many of the reference books, when they are making, so they refer this book, and Newton's theory is there, as well as topic of energy. So all these topics are there, which is covered in 11th and 12th, and quite a heavy book. Let me say, it is a quite a heavy book having large number of pages. Heat and temperature is discussed over here, and further you will find the more kinetic theory of gases is discussed, and then mathematics and relativity is also done over here. And you will find relativity chapter is also covered, and it is covered in a very elementary level, and you will find relativity equations are very complicated and very difficult to understand, but here you will find that it is explaining the relativity in a quite an elementary level, which any layman can read and he can understand. And this book is specially made for layman people. It is not made for people like who are having a proficiency degree of postgraduate or who is proficient in physics, but it is made at a very elementary level, and mostly very, as far as possible, all the chapters are discussed in theoretical wise, and many minimum equations you will find in the book. And then our basic electric circuits are discovered. It is discussed over here in detail, and then electrostatics is there. And after coming to this final part of electrostatics, you will find the further chapter is there like magnetism, where magnetism topics are discussed, and then little bit about electrolysis. And then we come to this analyzing the atoms, and further radioactivity is there. Radioactivity topics are discussed over here, and laboratory work again with the laboratory work of electricity and magnetism, that is laboratory work with electrons, it is discovered over here. And you can find everywhere, you will find just theories, whatever whole the physics is discussed over here with the help of theory over here. And we have reached up to chapter number 14, and it is at the page number 649. So you can see it is a very big book, and big in size, as well as it is covering large number of topics. And up to 653 we have reached, and here it is at atoms, experiment and theory. Then again there is a laboratory work over here with electrons from generator to oscilloscope. So here it talks about oscilloscopes also. And now we have reached up to here at page number 677, where it talks about the oscillators which are used in nuclear physics, the different types of machineries it talks about which are used in nuclear physics. Here there is a cyclotron magnet which is there in 12th class, and here again there is a oscillators, right? So this way this book covers a large number of topics, and now we have come up to nuclear physics, and you can see it is at the page number 685, where it talks about the radioactivity, how the radioactivity process is occurring, and bubble chamber. And then you will find that we have reached now here up to page number of 693, where it talks about pair creation and pair annihilation. And then as we proceed further, we have come to this page number here, that is 703, where it talks about the nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. So on the topics we are going on. And after that 721, we have reached to 721, and it talks about the Stefan's law over here. Then there is Planck's law of radiation, and so on. We come up to 641, where it talks about the double slit experiment. Here the different types of wave theory of light like biprism experiment is also discussed over here. And you will find different types of wave phenomenon, that de Broglie hypothesis. Here you will find de Broglie hypothesis is also discovered, and you will find that diagrams are something like unique, as if it is done by the hand, not in a printed form. So such well this book has been made. And here we have come up to like page number something like 751, 761, and here it discusses something about the general problems of physics, and quite a good book in to dig deeper of physics knowledge and to study in depth. and here we have reached up to page number 777 in index column. So this is how the whole book covers, and the last page you will find it is 778. So this way the physics for the inquiry mind, really it is a physics for the inquiry mind, and people who want to understand physics at a very elementary level can use this book. And here it also talks in the last page for whom this book is there, and it is a very rare book, Physics for the Inquiry Mind, and you can go through this book. Thank you everybody.